Everybody, it's Charlie. Thanks for tuning in to the WTCF podcast, and let's go ahead and just jump into some stuff for the week. So, the intention this week is geared around a conversation I had with one of the other members. We were going for a walk on Sunday morning. So, there's that Run Walk Collective. And as we were kind of like walking along, a person brought up a really interesting concept, right? So, we're sitting there thinking about what the intention could look like, what we can go ahead and work on for the month or for the week, I should say. And she had said, just enjoy. And we were kind of talking, and she noted something that I had said, and it's just like sometimes you just enjoy things for the simple sake of enjoying them. And that's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be anything more or crazy or anything else other than you can enjoy things purely for the enjoyment of them. Now, this isn't some take to go out there and have that serial killer mentality of like, I like hurting people. No, that's not what I'm getting at. But the idea is like, you don't have to explain the things that you genuinely enjoy. So if you like to sit down and watch horror movies, do it. If you like to sing, do it. Like, find the things that you genuinely enjoy and spend more of your life doing those things. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry about that one. Sometimes it's real life. I enjoyed that moment. But again, I think it's important for us to go ahead and find some enjoyment, especially like during these summer months where it could be a little bit easier to find the simple enjoyments of like a warm, sunny day, and people usually are in better spirits. So cool. Also, as we get into July, so this is now being filmed in July, the newsletter went out. So if you're looking for a newsletter around We the Collective Fitness, wethecollectivefitness.com. And then if you scroll down, you'll see there's a newsletter that's there. You can sign up. So every month we'll go ahead and give you updates about what's going on at the studio and then talk about one topic. And the topic for this month is around community. And the idea is like how to go ahead and build some community. So we're going to pull a couple quick notes from that because it got sent out and I just don't remember it directly every single word. But hey, this is why we go ahead and have things ready for us. So here it is. Um, Be present in the small moments. True community isn't built on grand gestures, but in the quiet, consistent act of showing up. It's the nod, the quick "how are you" before class, the genuine listen to someone as they share a challenge. These micro interactions are the bedrock. Stop rushing your hell-bent pace for a second and just be there. So again, to be in support of other people. The other day, I heard a story on one of the other social media sites. This guy was going to the gym, and for the last like 100 days or so at the gym, he'd see this guy every single time at 5 a.m. and they never exchanged more than like a nod. So they just kind of were there for one another. And the guy jokes at the end. He's like, honestly, he's probably closest to my best friend. I thought that was just an interesting concept of just like building community because the person's just out there doing something similar and just being there for the small moments could be enough. So again, when you see the same people all the time, it starts to kind of help because we start to pick up on tendencies and they will pick up on some of yours. Offer help without expectation. The easiest way to build connection is to give without asking for anything in return. See someone struggling with a concept, offer a word of encouragement. Notice a friend looking down, a simple "you got this" can be monumental. It isn't about being a martyr, it's about extending a hand because you can, because it's the right thing to do, and that's how bonds are really forged. So when you see these opportunities to go and be an upstanding person, don't expect anything back for it. I think one of the nicest things we can do is just be good for the sake of being good. Again, if you enjoy helping people, just help people. You don't really need a reason beyond that. Just go ahead and do it. And then share your story imperfectly. Authenticity breeds connection. Don't hide your struggles or messy moments. When you open up about a challenge you're facing or a small victory you've earned, you invite others to relate, to empathize, and to see you as genuinely human. Perfection is a lonely path. Shared vulnerability builds true strength. So even on my way, like into work this morning, a video that I caught was a woman talking about she was so happy and impressed with herself by finally hitting 100 pounds in a squat. And this morning at the studio, we had Lift Heavier. And again, somebody got to 105 pounds. They never thought they can do it. Like just the other day, somebody benched 110 for the first time, and they've been struggling for weeks to go ahead and get there. So, like sharing that story, somebody else, one of the other members has been sharing her experiences on TikTok and just kind of giving, monthly updates on how she's doing. Sharing vulnerability can be one of the biggest ways to go ahead and connect to people because a lot of times all we ever see on social media are people, their grand gestures, their wonderful experiences, the highlights of life, and instead of just sharing some of the real authentic moments. So I think there's plenty of other like magazines and periodicals that come out that say like the celebrities are just like us, and you see them like at pictures at the store, and it's like finding some of that relatability can be incredibly helpful for building community. So seeing some of the same things, helping some of the same people out, again, this kind of speaks back to that person you see at the gym all the time, even though you've never really said hello to them. Eventually, you get to that nod state and you just kind of build some mutual respect. Now, if you see that person out in the wild, like you already feel like you have a connection to that person. And I still think that we're trying to overcome some of the fading effects of COVID. I think that there's still some really good opportunity for people to connect with one another, and yet we're still scared to. So other things like depression and anxiety have been up. And I'm going to say that is anecdotal. I do not have physical proof at this moment. But for me, it feels that way. It feels like people are a lot more high strung. It feels like there's a lot of cortisol. Basically, it's one of those stress hormones that people have because things are really, really tough in their day-to-day lives. And one of the best ways we can go ahead and build good, strong community is to be there for one another. And hopefully that's something that helps you out. Now, for personal update stuff, um, my weight came down to about 205. So I think I've been somewhere between like 215 and 207. So after the water fasting, I might have talked about it last week, but now I'm kind of staying around that 205, 206 range, which makes me feel a little bit better that it is mainly water weight. So now that I can go ahead and just get past that, I can say, okay, cool. I don't have another issue going on. I feel healthy for the most part. Lifts have been down slightly, but I still feel like I can push plenty hard. And I think since the body just recognized the resistance instead of the pounds, that I'm still going to slowly be making gains along the way. So that's kind of the idea for the rest of the summer is to kind of alternate into much more hypertrophy based work and still be able to maintain parts of my strength as I kind of slightly but surely cut my way down. Again, what we're trying to do with We the Collective is build community. It's built into the name, collective, and to be able to help and assist as many other people as humanly possible. Whether that's to build a group like this weekend, we have Stitch and Bitch, where you can just bring your craft stuff into the studio. Now, if you're like doing some giant woodworking, please don't. Like, you don't have to do that. But like, if you're sewing or painting or working on something, like bring it in and talk to other people who are working on their crafts. Even just this morning, it was a really great turnout for class, and we actually spent the last 10 minutes of it just talking about concerts that we were attending and talking about music overall and just building a relationship with other people in the room besides just going in there for like the weightlifting, but to actually go in and like make friends and like do things and show ourselves as becoming better, more personable human beings, right? Those connections can be incredibly important to help us out. So that's all I really have for today. And thanks for taking the time. And on that note, good luck.